thoughts of Mike Steph, this marks a new beginning. Thanks for supporting a total reinvention. The soul is still here, but the vibe's a little different. Unpredictable, hide the kids and the women. Sports of all sorts, music, mixed for living. Rep New York City, but ain't the politician. Always bring the heat, Steph bacon in the kitchen. Big shout to y'all, I appreciate the listen. Donnie put the rest, but I'm still in the best. In the word of what I do, all y'all know the rest. I live it, I breathe it, I'm the whole definition. The pinnacle, the ultimate, I'm on a new mission. The salty thoughts of Mike Steph, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, the best in the world of what he does. Tap in. What up, people? I said, what up, people? Welcome to another edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast, featuring the one and only Mike Steph, best in the world at what he does. Yeah, man. Voice of the voiceless, aka voice of the viceless. Yeah, I told you I was gonna come back with the double barrel approach. There's numerous reasons. One, because I had a lot of content and I really did not want to have a 3-hour marathon, even though I can do that. You know, I don't know why, because guess what? Because I can. Also, because there's a big possibility that I will not be dropping a new episode next late Sunday night, early Monday morning, due to some family obligations that I'm going to have to take care of. So instead of me putting myself behind the 8 ball, so to speak, and trying to rush out an episode or at the last minute go on the community tab of my YouTube channel, you know, where I usually put posts or where people put posts and you can actually comment, likes and all that other bullshit, or actually comment back. Yeah, that tab. Put one of those little posts of, oh, sorry, due to some unforeseen circumstances, I'm not gonna be able to drop it this week. I figure, you know what? I'll give y'all 2 for the price of 1 this week. So therefore, if I just happen not to be able to double back and give y'all all the salt that you so richly deserve, I'll still be on tap. I'll still be on track. I'll still be the benevolent dude that y'all have been accustomed of seeing. So this episode 52 of the Mike Steph podcast, we'll be discussing the following. The main event are the Golden State Warriors. Not even elimination from the playoffs. So guess what? They didn't make the playoffs. The elimination from the play-in at the hands of the Sacramento Kings. But even more importantly, whether or not this actually is the nail in the coffin, so to speak, the actual end of the dynasty. I called it back in December, right around the time Draymond started doing his Draymond shit. And for some reason, if it went under the radar, it went ignored. It was espoused by the more popular corners of this market, this sports take market, and it was summarily dismissed. And here we are, the opening weekend of the NBA playoff season, playoff season, postseason. And guess who is not involved in the postseason? These dudes right here. It's actually funny that the last time that I actually wore this shirt, I came down with the Christmas cold. Those who know. They're not Witchcore. They're not sweeping my shit under the rug. But yeah, so hopefully I don't get a return of the Christmas cold near Passover. Anyway, so that is what's going to be on tap this week. I'll be discussing the elimination of the Golden State Warriors in the play-in tournament at the hands of the Sacramento Kings, and a lot of my thoughts of what's happened since that magical season, that magical year in 2022, in which Steph, Dre, Clay got their fourth ring. Steve Kerr got his fourth ring. The ownership, the Laker ownership got their fourth ring. And what should have been the beginning of an addendum to the dynasty was actually probably just I wouldn't say fluke, but it was a tease of the times past and not necessarily a tease of the view of the future. So yeah, that will be on tap this week. And I will touch on, kind of not really getting deep into it, but I will touch on the Drake, the Rick Ross, the Kendrick battle. I'm not going to say beef because ain't no blood being spilled, ain't no fisticuffs being thrown, so it's not a beef. It's a disagreement, it's a challenge, if you will, but more likely, more or less, it's a battle on wax, a battle of memes, a battle of Instagram posts, just a rap battle. My thoughts on it, my thoughts of why this is happening now with the biggest names in hip hop, and actually my just thoughts on hip hop in itself, or should I say my hunger for newness, my hunger for creativity, my hunger, my craving for listening to current day hip hop, current day rap. And yeah, I'll give a little anecdote or two of what I used to do back in the day. Yeah. If anybody saw the last episode of what happened back in the day, let's just say this would be a little bit more tame, but probably not as tame as you would think. So that is what's going to be on the docket. So without further ado, I'm going to get this shit up and running because, like, I ain't going to lie, even though, you know what, some things are best kept to myself. So without further ado, let's get this show on the road. Um, Good night and goodbye. Right. Is this the end? Are you my friend? Do see to me. Golden State R.I.P. Ding ding doom doom. Yeah, I know. I know. Y'all probably are like, wow, like he's really going hard on the Golden State Warriors. Like, wow, he is really showing how is he going to be draped in Golden State garb and Golden State regalia and yet have such disrespect for the legacy, such disrespect for the dynasty. There's a reason about that. I know you're probably like, oh, now since your Knicks is on top, since your Knicks is back, you would go, you discard. No. Y'all did that. Y'all did that. The fan base did that. The ownership did that. The coaching staff, the roster did that. See, listen. Maybe it was just a matter of time that the kiss of Steph infected the Golden State Warriors franchise. You know what I'm talking about when I say the kiss of Steph, aka the kiss of death. Yes, the kiss of Steph. Mike Steph, that is. The black cloud, which hovers amongst all my franchises, waiting for the inevitable doom and gloom to happen. Happened to the Warriors. to the butt. Now, I was wondering how I was going to tackle this. And I'm going to tackle it the best way I know how. And that's just get right to the ish. The Warriors were eliminated from the play-in tournament by getting their ass bust by the Sacramento Kings this past Tuesday. Or should I say in this case, last Tuesday. Maybe, just maybe, it was a small measure of revenge for the Kings since they were eliminated by the Warriors last year in the first round. It was a milestone reached by the core four of the Warriors in this loss as well. Do you know that it was the first time that a completely healthy core three under Steve Kerr that they didn't qualify for the playoffs? 2020, you was missing Clay. 2021, you was missing Clay. 2022, they not only made the playoffs, they won the whole damn thing. 2023, they got eliminated in the second round by the Los Angeles Lakers. Tell you the truth, that was the first time, and it should have been, maybe it was a premonition for things to come. That was the first time that the core of Clay, Steph, and Draymond did not reach the NBA Finals. They actually lost since their dynastic run in 2015. That was the first time since 2015 that they did not come out of the Western Conference as long as all three were playing. Do you know that they're officially 0-3 in the play-in tournament since its inception 4 seasons ago? But that's not the most important thing that I really wanted to discuss about this team. I asked back in December whether or not we were seeing the death of a dynasty. I asked whether or not Draymond Green's actions had hampered the small championship window that they possibly had in the twilight of Steph Curry's prime. Well, the game and the aftermath answered some of these questions and brought upon more than I initially expected to attempt to answer. Like, I'm going to preface all this by being transparent at the outset. To me, this season has been the least engaged I've been with the Warriors in the last 8 or 9 years. While, like, I officially claimed the Warriors as one of my teams in the 2020 season, so that's officially 5 seasons ago, my fandom of them go way farther than that. The Run TMC days is the origins. The season which we had Chris Webber for 1 season, along with Chris Mullin, along with Latrell Sprewell, a young, spry Latrell Sprewell. To the We Believe days of Matt Barnes and Captain Jack and Al Harrington and them boys. You know, Sailor Don Nelson. To the initial days of the Mark Jackson era and the Splash Brothers. It's been a minute. Like, I'm always Knicks first. But during the times in which they weren't in the playoffs, I had to have a team to root for, right? Like, I can't watch a game and not have a rooting interest. It's like eating toast with no butter, pancakes with no syrup, butter with no jelly. Well, peanut butter with no jelly, macaroni without the cheese. You get the point. But for some reason, this year was different. was different for me. I think it started from the shoddy treatment that was given to Jordan Poole. Like all the failures of last year's team were his fault. All you heard throughout the postseason, throughout the offseason was, okay, this season was trying like none other. The situation that happened in training camp, we was battling that all season long. Now since we got the core back together and Draymond is able to enforce his will without worrying that he was going to hurt somebody's feelings or, the time has passed, we can get back on the train. It was a convenient excuse. Team chemistry was effed up last year due to the knockout delivered by Draymond to Poole. But Draymond was indispensable, right? So Poole had to go. To make matters worse, Draymond went on like a media tour discussing the fallout and how it affected his ability to lead and be vocal in the locker room. Now, this was after they jettisoned Poole to the wastelands of Washington. Like, once he got traded, there was nothing else to talk about. Especially with him. Like, Poole actually took the high road in the situation and refused to talk about it. He didn't throw no shots. He didn't throw no subs. He just was like, look, I'm here. I'm going to talk. I want to focus on where I'm at and what I'm trying to do right now with my career in Washington. Draymond's the one who kept on talking about, well, the situation, the incident, I felt like I was hamstrung. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do this. I couldn't do that. Never mind about the fact that one incident severely damaged Poole's career. Yet it seemed like the Warriors were trying to use that as a spark, like a rallying cry of sorts to band together, which reared its ugly head early in the season. But Draymond wasn't the only wart being shown. Steve Kerr was being as stubborn as always. Like, he was being exposed as a one-trick pony in my opinion. Like the motion. Yeah, sometimes you have to pivot. And it seemed like Steve Kerr was unable to pivot. Like, on a team that had a glaring need for youth, for speed, for athleticism, he kept Moody and Kuminga stuck to the bench in favor of Dario Saric and others early in the season. If it wasn't for Kuminga being vocal in the media about his displeasure, he wouldn't have had the chance to show any type of development at all this year. And whatever pros that he had were wasting away on the pine, especially up on a contract. So, see, StreamYard, y'all about to be on some bullshit. See what I've been on the stream too long. I've been rocking with y'all too long. Look, my bill is paid in full, and y'all want to know why I won't fork up the extra $25 to get 1080p? Because y'all cocksuckers. Where was I? Oh yes, sipping on Cristal, bring up your bitch dress. Okay, where was I? Yeah, so with a contract situation upcoming for Kuminga's like, look, either y'all gonna give me the money, or I need the opportunity to show my wares to the rest of the league so I can get my bread. Like, it's not my fault y'all trying to do two things at the same time, and it's just not meshing. Y'all drafted me for a reason, right? Y'all brought me up here for a reason, right? So let me handle my business. Now, Moody never getting regular minutes, even though at most times, not even most times, all the time, every time he was asked to step in at the most important stages of the season, not only did he contribute, he had performed above and beyond. Now, these were two pieces of the concurrent timelines that was espoused by the upper leadership ownership. Remember when they had Wiseman and they had Moody and they had Kuminga, and they're like, all right, well, we got the young boys and we had Poole. Yeah, we got the young boys down here. They're going to get the experience. They're going to be able to contribute. Yet, meanwhile, we got our sage, our veteran, our championship DNA, our gold-blooded DNA, in which they can embark or depart wisdom to the young boys, and they can take it over and continue to go, right? This is something I don't think has been expressed, and I wonder why they didn't make this move. But coming off of 2019 finals, right? And you knew Clay was coming back from an injury. Matter of fact, yeah, you knew Clay was coming back was going to have to come back from an injury, from an ACL. You knew that he had a chance to slip for a little bit of slippage, right? Do you know that Anthony Edwards was available in the same draft class that Wiseman was? There was no thought of picking Anthony Edwards. Why? Because he wasn't going to mesh. Well, he was going to be too independent. Well, maybe you had Poole, so why do we need Ant? Listen, Ant-Man on this team, I guarantee you, Draymond wouldn't have been able to knock Ant-Man out. Maybe Draymond didn't want another alpha male in that locker room. Not saying that he had any say so in the matter, but that's something to think about. That's something to think about. Just saying. Now, it hasn't helped that Andrew Wiggs, yeah, this brain dead mother effer. It hasn't helped that he's been a shell of what they thought they had after the 2022 finals run. Coincidentally, after he got his bag, his contributions, his he just hasn't been that dude that y'all thought y'all were getting. Now, there's been stories of personal drama happening, which has caused him to miss time and understandably be distracted when he did play. I get it. I'm not going to speak on those because it's none of my business. None of my business, and I don't, and I'll be talking out my ass if I just start throwing shit up in the air. Looney, unfortunately, fell off a cliff. The CP3 experiment went exactly how we all knew it was going to go. At the most, he was going to be hurt. He was going to miss a big chunk of games. And whatever last bit of burst he had in that first year in Phoenix, gone. People don't realize that they should have never even got to the finals that year. Think about it. Should never got to the finals that year. They were down what? And maybe I might be getting the years confused. So matter of fact, I'm gonna leave that to the side. But CP3, by the time y'all got him, gone. So y'all effectively traded Jordan Poole for Chris Paul to appease Draymond, to get the arch nemesis of the Golden State Warriors and bring him to your side, which I thought y'all was doing Kevin Durant part 2. Wasn't going to work. He got, like I said, he got hurt and didn't have much impact at all. His name value gave Kerr the false hope. That's all he needed. The false hope that at times added to the lack of explosiveness and youth in the rotation. But that brings me to the main topic. The dynasty is over. The fan base has become delusional. Yes, I said it. I said it. Anytime, just take a peek at Warriors Twitter and tell me what you see. Now you have a segment, a minority that actually know what they're talking about, that actually will be fair and do 50-50s. And then you have the ones that are like, well, no, it's all this fault, it's all that person's fault. The fan base has become so delusional in what happened and what can be done to fix the problem, which is not much, to tell you the truth. They're caught between business and loyalty. I also believe that they get this delusion from some of the players. Now, don't get me wrong. One of the players that they get this delusion from is this guy on your screen. Yeah, the light skin dude. The self confidence and the arrogance of Klay Thompson is both his greatest strength and his greatest flaw. It allowed him to come back from two, not one, two devastating injuries in back to back years, the ACL and the torn Achilles. Cut down in his prime, but he made it back and he had an impact. The difference, though, was the consistency. He couldn't replicate his impact night after night after night after night. The legend of Game 6 Klay was constantly in his head, and he was constantly trying to relive the greatness that was unfortunately in the past. Last year in the playoffs, he didn't hold up his end of the bargain. He wasn't able to help his splash bro in the times it was needed. The series against the Kings, he came up small in Game 6 and Game 7. The series against the Lakers, he was non-existent, but yet everybody wanted to blame Jordan Poole for taking the three at the end of Game 1. Like he didn't earn that opportunity. Like he didn't say, you know what, fuck this. I'm taking it because y'all gonna blame me regardless. This year, though, it was more pronounced. This year, it was so much so that they had to use him on the bench. They had to use him off the bench. But he did so well there that once there was an opening, he was back in the starting lineup. But think of this. If you take away the last month of the season, it probably was the worst season of his prime. In the biggest game of the season, yeah, I said the season, not the playoffs, not the postseason. Because guess what? The play-in is not the postseason. In the biggest game of the season, he was 0 for 10 from the field for 0 points. 0 for 6 from 3. I believe he put so much pressure on himself to prove that he was worth what he wanted in these his upcoming contract negotiations this year, that it was too much of a burden for him to bear. It's too much of a burden for him to overcome because he just isn't the same. Father Time comes for all of us. These quotes after the game against the Kings were telling me where his head is at. I quote, the all-NBA guard who won 4 championships with the Warriors seemed surprised Wednesday when reporters inquired about his future with Golden State and said it was ridiculous that they didn't want to talk about his season. Considering it's April 17th, I don't think I have to pivot that quickly, Thompson added, adding that he hadn't thought about his future at that point. When is free agency? July 1st? Yeah, I got some time. When one reporter asked how he viewed his future with the Warriors this offseason, he said it feels obviously pretty unknown. Do you want to talk about this season first, or do you want to talk about the future? A lot of games played, man. That's a pretty big accomplishment. What's up with y'all not wanting to live in the present? Ridiculous. Someone with his pride and ego, of course, would answer like that. I'm not gonna lie, he was my favorite of the core. Everybody jumped on Steph, rightfully so. Um, the quote unquote rugged, rough, rugged, and raw loved Draymond's frankness, loved Draymond's tenacity, loved Draymond's craziness. I loved Clay's that devil may care attitude. Listen, I just got off. I just came out the room. Uh, I've been lighting it up. I just had this broad on my yacht. Like, I'm good. Remember Henny Clay? Henny Clay almost lost his ring at the parade. That's something I would have did back in the day. Like, Clay off the Henny was was crazy. Now, like I said, it was that demeanor, that same demeanor that I'm talking about negatively right now is what made me gravitate to him. Now we get to Draymond. Now we get to this mother effer, or for lack of a term, this nigga. I said it before, and I'll say it again. The enabling of Draymond's transgressions over the years have brought them to this point. While it's not a question that he's valuable, might as well say invaluable piece to the squad, his importance is magnified by his absence. You could say Steph is sitting there like, how did this end up happening? Remember, for a chunk of the season, Draymond left Steph exposed by himself. And when I say exposed, I'm not talking about flaws. I'm talking about he left them hanging. He left his faith and his trust in his bro, in his friend, in his compadre, in his teammate hanging. When those absences are due to his lack of self-control, well, what should you do? In the Warriors' case, they should blame themselves. I'm not going to go as far as blame Steph or call out the leadership or say it makes you wonder about all the respect that Steph says that he proclaims to have, and why would he not at least make an effort to try to curb some of these primal tendencies? I'm just asking. This franchise gifted him with a 3-year extension in the offseason last year. On the heels of their cohesion going to dust due to his and Poole's altercation. What incentive did he have to improve his behavior? On top of that, he's helped bring 4 chips to the franchise. He has a right to feel a sense of entitlement. For all the philosophy of Kerr saying he's a human and his flaws or what makes him who he is, and that attitude is the reason why I rock with him. That attitude, the reason why I have faith in him. Well, guess what? The attitude's the reason why it's over. Now, I'm not jumping off and joining the rest of the world and gloating over their demise. I'm just being a realist. Sometimes that's what most of the supporters are not capable of doing. Like I said at the beginning of this rant, I was disengaged from the beginning of the season. There was no fire, and it resembled what I witnessed out of the Warriors themselves. A belief that a switch could be flipped hung over this team, especially with the 19-24 start. They were 27-12 in the second half of the season, but even that felt hollow. I'll be on the lookout for the excuse makers during the Warrior-less playoffs. These followers that I talk about, these followers that I mention, They put AEW fans to shame with the amount of what can they come up with, or why the outcomes are the way they are. Or to me, the biggest similarity between these two groups is the lack of coming to grips with reality that's looking dead in the fucking face. That what worked before doesn't necessarily work in the present time. That the changes have to take place, or you're just insane. Isn't that the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, but expecting different results? The 10-year run in the Warriors' case is outstanding, but the thing that made them revolutionary is the thing that's holding them back. They changed the way the game is played. Everyone, everyone is at least the majority, everyone, if not at least the majority of the league is caught up and caught onto the schemes. Only with bigger, younger, and faster pieces. And dare I say hunger. Or dare I say they're hungrier than the Warriors. I don't care how much you proclaim to have that same hunger. Listen, when you've reached the mountaintop, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times in 10 years, there's no way in hell you're going to be as hungry as that first time you had a taste of that sweet nectar. It was a great run indeed. Now the need to look to the future and beyond has come. No more time can be wasted. If there's any time left. I'm going to ask a question. Does anybody really know why all of a sudden everybody's coming for Drake's head? And I'm not talking about the B-level players. I'm talking about everybody. Kendrick set it off with the like that verse in which he said, "What the fuck the big three? I'm just a big me," or whatever the hell. And then Drake had his rebuttal. And then Drake, I think, as recently as this past weekend, came out with another rebuttal with using AI Snoop and AI Pac, talking about whatever. Like, to me, it's kind of jump the cliff, jump the shark already. Rick Ross came out with a scathing track aimed at Drake and repeating the frame. Right, boy? White boy? Yeah, white boy. Afraid of your black side, right, boy? Which, you know, Now, a couple weeks ago, everybody was debating because the first person to jump out the window was J. Cole. J. Cole was the first one to respond to the Kendrick Lamar verse. And then less than a week later, during his Dreamville festival performance, he felt the need to retract that, deleted it off his mixtape, and pretty much was like, "Look, yo, that's my dude. I jumped out there, um, tried to discredit his discography, tried to discredit his legacy, and I really wasn't going hard. And I went out there, and on second thought, I pretty much I allow people to put the battery in my back because in reality, and this is me speaking now, in reality, he knew that those whatever bars were on that verse weren't really aimed at J. Cole. J. Cole got the shrapnel, but they weren't really aimed at him. And as a competitor, he was in go mode until he realized, and then according to him, that it didn't sit right with his spirit. And people like, oh nah, which girl, come on, how you gonna be talking like this? Yo, da 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 da. Yo, he should be on demon time. Blah 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 blah. If you want to talk about rap as a sport, the sparring, I get it. The competitiveness, I get it. If that was the case, you shouldn't have jumped out the window quick. But two things. One, if he's being a man, he'd be on some real G shit and like, look, nah, that shit was whack. My verse was what it was. But me going at my dude, especially if I consider that my dude, no matter what anybody, all the hanger-ons think, and all the people on the sideline think, if that's my dude, and I know in my heart that he really wasn't coming at me, I should have just fell back like, you know what? All right, it is what it is. And he even said, look, I'm going to stand with my chin out like, yo, you could knock me the fuck out because what I did, I put myself in that position. But I'm trying to get right, and me getting right with myself at this point in time, it's not about what y'all feel like I should do, or y'all felt what I did was correct. It's about me getting right with my Most High. It's not for y'all to understand. That's number one. Number two, maybe, just maybe, he saw what was about to happen, and that even more so made him like, you know what? Nah. I thought it was just gonna be on some y'all going to a different realm that, once again, for myself, I ain't trying to fuck with. So he immediately removed himself out this situation. Rush jumped in. Drake is on some cocky shit like he got the WMD in the back. Like, I'm waiting for y'all. I'll take all of y'all. He's on some Tony Montana shit. I take all of y'all cockroaches. I don't know. There's something that just doesn't seem right. Like, why now? Why now? What's the reason for all of this bickering, all this disagreement, all this going for people's heads? Like, he didn't have that same energy when Pusha came for his head a couple years ago. He had to go to Uncle Daddy in Houston, try to stop that pressure, right? So what's changed now? What's changed now? I don't get it. Also, this has got to be the first time, and people are using this analogy that it's almost like the Avengers are getting together to go after Drake. Like, Drake is Thanos, and everybody's the Avenger. Kendrick, uh, ASAP Rocky, uh, Metro, Future, Ross, The Weeknd. Need I go more? Need I go on? I don't know. I ain't gonna lie. I'm not that caught up in the situation because my interest in current music nowadays is close to nil. Especially when it comes, like, everything is so disposable, everything's so microwavable that I really could care less. Like, maybe that's the reason why this is playing out the way it is, because everybody's feeling that crunch of nobody's paying attention to us. Can you see me? Can you see me? Either you're paying attention, matter of fact, either you're listening to other genres of music, or you're getting swept to the side, or You're just not focused on what's going on now, all the machinations that go on in the background. I could care less. Like, this brings me to my main point of why I've even brought this up. Um, not so why I brought the battle up. Because if y'all think I'm talking about another 15, 20 minutes about the Cole, the Drakes, the Rick Ross, the Kendricks, I really could care less. My appreciation of R&B has become heightened in my older years. Look, I'm not ashamed, and I've said time before, and I'll say it again. I'm 47, going to be 48 years old this year. Current music doesn't appeal to me. And I'm not knocking the current music. It just doesn't appeal to me. There's no longer, well, unless you really look for it, there's no longer adult contemporary music. There's no is there even a R&B genre nowadays? Everything is rap. Well, everything is hip hop tinged, hip hop related. And for years, if it didn't have that type of vibration, that type of tempo, I wasn't fucking with it. But over the last 15, 16 months since I've made my transformation, since I've been progressing into becoming a better individual, a better man, a better human, um, overcoming the stuff that I've overcome over the last 15 to 16 months, I need things to uplift my spirit. I need things to put me in a calm mood, not a hyper mood. I need a different vibration. So I've been making and listening to older, older skewing playlists, older skewing music that if I look back, I'm like, darn, that song is 40 years old. That song is 50 years old. That song is 20 years old. Back in the days when I was in my teens, early 20s, only time I could listen to R&B was the remix. Because where they would have the regular song and then they would have the remix with the rapper. That's the only time I could listen to an R&B song, which technically wasn't an R&B song. It was an R&B. It was R&B in name only, right? That was me for years. My wife, she was the R&B woman. She was the R&B one half. I I needed that kick. I need the lyrics. I discussed this one tidbit with the Mojo King of Hidden Gems Football and Hidden Gems Golf and a part of the 19 Media Group. I discussed with him numerous times over the years of wanting to actually appreciate music for what it is, to calm down my quote unquote rapper mind. Because there was a nice stretch of time that I could not listen to a song without automatically either bars formulating in my head or darn, I hear the beat and I'm already trying to figure out what kind of flow I would do. I couldn't enjoy the music until I fell all the way back. Sometimes, and tell you the truth, yeah, self-imposed. As I said before, shoot, will I ever come out with another EP? Probably not. Do I have any inclination on making any music? Not really. Check out the blog for verses that probably would never get recorded. My latest entry, and it'll give you more of an in-depth view of what I'm trying to espouse here on the Social Thoughts Mike Steph podcast. But like I said, over the last year, being the fact that I've kind of put things in this proper perspective and kind of reshaped and reimagined what I am trying to accomplish with the duration of my life, the rest of my life, writing, recording isn't really one of them. So I'm actually able to listen to the music for what it is. And I've become very appreciative of R&B music, of Tony Braxton mumbling ass. That's a callback to last episode. To Prince, to Whitney, to Mariah, to New Edition, to Luther Vandross, to just on and on and on and on and on. Songs that I would have listened to and then went through one ear right at the other. Now I have a better appreciation of those. It's almost similar to how I feel about dressing. For years, the bigger the better. If it was too big on me, oh great, it's comfortable. Now I literally, and I was talking to someone today, I literally was like, yo, my double X shirts, some of them fit, some of them don't. But when I got too much room in them, I'm like, whoa, no, this is too big. This don't fit me. When my pants, since I done lost weight, now I got to pull up my pants or maybe add another notch to the belt, cinch it up a little bit more. Before I didn't mind them sagging, I didn't mind them slack, which girl being slouchy. As my grandmother would say, "Happy birthday, Grandma!" April 22nd. And my grandma would say, "Why your pants look so sloppy? Why your pants look so sloppy? Pull your pants up. Your pants are so sloppy." She said this when I was in my 20s. Said this in my late 20s, and I and she probably would say it the majority of my 40s if she was around. Only up until now, I'm like, oh nah, I don't feel right. Don't get me wrong, I'm not wearing no booty huggers, but at the same time, I don't need them. It's so big. I for years I was a size 32 wearing a size 38. Sue me. That was my twist. That was what I did. Then I became a 38 and I was like, oh, gotta get a 40. Shoot, don't you know I had a pair of pants that was a 44 because I was actually a size 40? That's ridiculous. But I digress. Certain things have changed. I'm actually progressing in ways that the normal person wouldn't see, and it's not for y'all to see; it's for me to see. But the R&B, in order for me to search out R&B, I have to go dig in the crates. Even what they proclaim R&B to be now, few and far between actually hitting that spot. I'll give you this little tidbit before I actually start bringing this home. You know how slow jams, Genuine, Jaheim. I used to hate Jaheim. The only song I used to like from Jaheim was Fabulous, because that was one of my grandmother's favorite songs. She would just be in she would be in she would be in her she was be in her seat, smoking a cigarette, drinking her coffee, and she would just be rocking back and forth. Already know, charge that to the game. And she would just be like, it ain't on us, fabulous. Yeah, she loved that song. And of course I liked it because I liked it. Yeah, it was great. But these are songs that I never would have listened to. Well, I didn't listen to when they first came out, but now I listen to it. My ears like even more in tune. But wow, yo, he was spitting that shit. Yo, Genuine, yeah. Tweet, Fantasia. Oh, Mary J is always Mary J. Because Mary J is the queen of hip hop and R&B, queen of hip hop soul. So Mary J, I always fucked with Mary J. But even her more, matter of fact, I won't say the most recent ones because sorry. But the more grown Mary, I'm just Mary. That you can see. Like, These are songs that I wouldn't pay attention. I didn't pay attention to back then. Now I'm paying attention to now. It's brand new to me, even though they're familiar, but they're brand new to me. But the slow jams before 'cause I almost got off track. Slow jams. You know how people used to put the slow jams on to get in the mood. You know, my brother Bake. Uh, there was a time he was staying with us, and this is when Next first came out. And one of his songs that he ran into the effing ground was "Wifey." You would be my wifey. You would be my wifey. Wifey. Funny. Girl. You my wifey. Ooh wee. Oh my God, he played that to death. That and oh, we're getting real close. You're making it hard for me. Girl, you don't own me. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Girl, you might like it. You know I can't deny it. Oh, girl. Yeah, like, these are songs I'm listening to. I mean, I liked it back in the day, but I'm listening like, okay, listen. I'm not ashamed to say it, but about to go back on track. Slow jams. You put the slow jam on, your girl comes over, put the slow jam on, you start dimming the lights. And you know, it's supposed to be that panty wet music, making them moist. Making them moist. That's right, I say moist. And then you do to the rhythm of the rhythm of the beat. You know what my crazy ass used to do back in the day? I used to no matter of fact, yeah, I'm gonna say exactly how I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna say make love because I make love to you, rock you want me to, all the way through the night. No, I wasn't doing that to that music. I was fucking to some Red Man. Yeah, I said it. I was fucking to some Machine Gun Funk. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I was getting some brain to EPMD. Humming, coming at ya. Pop, pop, pop goes my noise. That's what I was doing back in my day. Listen, put some ain't hard to tell on in the back. And I'm not even talking about the original. I'm talking about the nah. She was slop mop, nah. I know. I've been on one of the last two episodes, but listen, it is what it is. That's what I was doing. Maybe, just maybe, things might have been different. Actually, you know what? I'm glad they are the way they are. Because little truth be told, when me and the missus got together, she was the only person I knew of our age bracket that liked Anita Baker. Now I liked Anita Baker because I remember when she was her videos, she would always, and once again, my grandmother used to love herself some Anita Baker because when Anita started doing like this, grandma back doing like this, just slow rock. But the missus used to love Anita Baker. She always had a very eclectic taste when it came to music. Now, when there was a big gap, when I was younger, I had an eclectic taste, and then when I get older, I did. Like I said, in the past, I listen to all different types of music. I used to listen to Limp Bizkit, but no doubt before Grin went solo. Don't speak. I don't know what you're saying. I'm just not betraying. Don't tell me 'cause it hurts. No. But yeah, but there was a time in the middle that pretty much was strictly rough, rugged, and raw for me. My wife. allowed me to still be in tune with that without having to really fully go. Like it was always at a stone's throw, if that makes sense. So when I would go and get my mixtapes back in the days, I'll go on 40 Deuce. Had this dude Musa. He was in like one of the spots in the flea market. So when I came, he knew he would go get under the table and get the private stash. And hey, Mike, what's going on? What's going on, my brother? Yo, I got the new shit. I got the hot shit. So he knew the latest and greatest for me for hip hop. My wife needed the slow jams and she needed the reggae. Now I've never been on reggae. Never been on dancehall. That's not me. You got a romantica, and you're gonna be under the yard. But yeah, that was my couple cents on what I do, what I like music wise nowadays. And I don't know what's going to happen with the Drake and the Kendrick thing. And tell the truth, I don't think I really care. Well, that brings us to the end of another edition of the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast. I'd like to thank each and every one of y'all for making me the podcast y'all choose to view and the podcast y'all choose to listen to. Next week, I don't know when y'all even actually getting this one. So next week is going to be up in the air, or should I say the next edition will be up in the air. It will either be Monday, April 29th, or it'll be sometime in May. But regardless, just check out the feed. Tap that notification button so whenever I drop, whenever I decide to release, y'all will be the first ones to hear it. Y'all have no idea what kind of marathon session I did today to give y'all what y'all truthfully need, what y'all sorely need, and what y'all most richly deserve. And that's more of me. I'm going to get the plug and get up out of here. Hidden Gems Football, hosted by the Mojo King and myself, Mike Steph. New episodes during the football season drop each and every Thursday on the YouTube channel of the 19 Media Group. Check out the YouTube channel of the 19 Media Group for our latest episode in which we recapped the free agent frenzy that happened at the beginning of the free agent period in the NFL. So please check out Hidden Gems Football with myself and the Mojo King. When we drop, if you press their notification buttons, you'll be the first ones to hear and see it. Check out the Salty Thoughts of Mike Steph podcast audio version available on the following platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music, amongst others. New episodes of the audio version drop each and every Wednesday. Catch me on Twitter, X, at Mike Steffens _. Catch me on the gram at Mike _Steph. And catch me on TikTok at Mike Steph _. Matter of fact, you want to give me some bread, catch me on Cash App, $ Mike. That's right, $ Donnie Mike. And check out my new blog, MikeStephOrg.wordpress.com. Yeah, man. So, once again, I will bid y'all adieu for this week. Well, I'll bid y'all adieu for this edition. If y'all think I was a little bit too much this week with the do, guess what?
Fuck that! Clear, guys. Fuck that! You shut your mouth. Doesn't mean that this shit stops. The ref doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I don't have to do this. I do this because I want to. I do this because I need to. I do this because I can. And if people aren't appreciative of the hard work that I do, or the hard work that the sweat equity that I give, then once again, Rob, tell them.
Fuck that!
Clear, guys.
Fuck that! You shut your mouth. Doesn't mean that this shit stops. The ref doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah. So with all that being said, I will bid y'all adieu until next time. Stitch. I've ignored you on purpose this week. So you got anything to say? What you say? He said Knicks in 6. He also told me to take this freaking Golden State bullshit off. Yeah, and I think that's all he said. So I'm gonna get out of here. Till next time. Goodbye. See, I gave you a little segment. Gave you a little segment. You know you're my boy. I know I did you dirty last week. You know, let you fall. But listen, tell me which one are you? Are you jealous? Are you frustrated? Are you proud? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you angry? Are you excited? Or are you this guy right here? This guy kind of resembles me. Sorry, champ.